Snoop and other people been having people trying to bail the guy out, Keefe because he talking too much. Raising him trying to do stuff for Puffy because they say he talking too much.
So we feeling like it's gonna be alright until we go to the hospital and see that it ain't alright. He got tubes in him, and it's like when I walked in, I could just feel like he wasn't even there, and I fainted.
Only way you have a ready, if you was at the fight with us and you had us. Two, we always go to the fight together. We always go to the club together.
Snoop Dogg's name just got dragged into the Tupac case, and this time it's coming straight.
Snoop Dogg's name just got dragged into the Tupac case, and this time it's coming straight from the feds. New evidence has surfaced, and Suge Knight just dropped bombshell receipts that could change everything we thought we knew for years. The whispers have been there, but now the dots are finally connecting. Could one of hip-hop's biggest icons be more involved than we ever imagined? Snoop Dogg and Suge Knight's story is one of the wildest in hip-hop history. But to really understand how these two went from being ride or dies to bitter enemies, you got to go back to the early when Death Row Records was running the rap game back then. Death Row wasn't just a label, it was a whole empire. Suge Knight was the king, Dr. Dre was the genius producer, and Snoop was the golden boy, a young lanky underscore from Long Beach with a smooth flow and a whole lot of street cred. His debut Doggy Style dropped in '93 and immediately shook the industry. And behind all the success was Suge, larger than life, always in a suit, always puffing on a cigar, looking like a villain straight out of a mob movie. He wasn't just feared, he was respected. If you were rolling with Suge, you were untouchable. But the problem with power, it makes people greedy. At first Snoop didn't mind, he was getting rich, the music was fire, and Death Row was at the top of the world. But then came the case, and Snoop got arrested for his alleged role in a gang-related. The trial dragged on, and his career was basically in limbo. But the moment he got acquitted in '96, everything started changing. The death row Snoop had signed up for wasn't the same. Dre was already out, tired of Suge's heavy-handed ways. Tupac was gone, and Snoop, he wasn't trying to be the last one standing in a crumbling empire. Death wasn't just a record label. It was a full-blown street operation. If you were in, you were in. But if you weren't, let's just say it could get real dangerous real fast.
As if I wasn't down with it no more, as if I was side busted, as if I was scared. Death Row looked at me as like a traitor. The next day, actually I had to fly back home from New York. And normally on a private plane, it'd be Pac, his security, me, my security, Suge, and a couple of his homies. This time I go to the airport, my security walking with me. Suge like, hold up, they can't walk. They gotta catch a regular flight. So now I'm like,
that's not a good sign.
Okay. First of all, Pac ain't said to me though, from that moment on.
But everybody else has security.
Yeah.
By '97, Snoop had dropped The Dogfather. But there was one major difference. Dre didn't produce a single track on it. And if you listen closely, you can hear the shift. The whole album felt like a goodbye letter to the Gunga lifestyle Death Row thrived on, and that's exactly what it was. Snoop wanted out, but leaving Suge on Night wasn't like quitting a regular job. This wasn't just a contract, it was a life or death situation. Snoop had to make a move and fast. Enter Master P, the New Orleans mogul behind No Limit Records. He had the money, the power, and most importantly, a different approach. Unlike Suge, who ran Death Row like a dictatorship, Master P actually taught his artists about business. Snoop saw the contrast and took few parting shots. Years later, he straight up called Suge the devil and credited Master P with saving his life. And Suge, he wasn't happy. He felt like he made Snoop who he was. And the fact that Snoop was now thriving without him, that stung. For the next few years, Suge was still trying to flex from behind bars. But Snoop wasn't scared anymore. By the early 2000s, Snoop was in full control of his career, and he let it be known that he wasn't ducking any smoke. That's he dropped Pimp Slapped, one of the most savage diss tracks ever, just straight up disrespect.
It's like it's right, shit like and that's on my life. And I'ma let the whole world see, cause you up the industry and that's on me.
He even clowned Suge's prison status, calling him out for not being locked up in the roughest part of the system. At this point, Suge was heated. The Death Row empire he built was falling apart, And now Snoop was out here, treating him like an afterthought. In 2002, things nearly came to blows at the Vibe Awards. But Steve Harvey, yes, that Steve Harvey had to step in and play peacekeeper. It didn't help that 2 years later, Dre got sucker punched at the same awards show in what many believed was a setup by Suge Out. Things were messy, and it was clear the beef wasn't dying anytime soon. But life has a way of humbling even the toughest dudes. By 2013, something had shifted. Snoop, now older, wiser, and deep into his weed and funky music era, started reflecting on his past. And surprisingly, he didn't hate Suge anymore. In an interview with Vlad TV, he even complimented Suge. He put the whole beef behind him. Fast forward to 2018, Snoop and Suge randomly ran into each other in Vegas.
Wasn't cool.
Right.
I seen him in Vegas. I was moving around doing my thing, and while I was getting the hotel room, she said, "Hi, Suge." I'm like, ugh. Turn around.
And they actually talked. Snoop actually forgave him. Just like that, the war was over.
And the whole conversation is, I loved you. I could have saved you. I had nothing but love for you. And his conversation was, I love you. I ain't got nothing but love for you. Why did you try to get me pop when you loved me? You know what? I forgive you. I ain't gonna do nothing to you. It's outside that wants your head right now. I ain't gonna do nothing to you. You can go and walk up out here and we're gonna be cool from this day forward. And we've been straight.
By the time Suge went down for good in 2018, sentenced to 28 years for a fatal hit and run, Snoop had already made peace with the past, and in true full circle fashion. When Snoop finally got the rights to Death Row Records in 2022, the first thing he did was dedicate a song to Suge called Bygones Be Bygones. Snoop even spilled all the tea during a Breakfast Club interview. According to him, it was never really about hatred. It was about control. Suge wanted to mold him into something specific. But Snoop was never the type to let someone put a leash on him.
Record label, when you got artists, and I've done this before, you really want control of that artist, but some artists deserve their own control in their own lane, and you got to give it to them.
He had to try to kill you, though.
Hey, man, I'm from the West Coast. It comes with the rules and regulations of the game. You know, I knew the job was dangerous when I took it.
No, it was.
Imagine someone putting a price on your head, making sure you knew they wanted you gone. And years later, you're just chopping it up like it never happened. Well, that was until Suge Knight was back at it again, throwing some wild accusations at Snoop Dogg, Dre, and Diddy, claiming they're all part of some secret society. Which, now that we know everything about Diddy, it doesn't really seem that wild.
Every time you see one, you see another one. Next thing you know, start painting their fingernails.
According to him, the moment an artist starts painting their nails and rocking more feminine fashion, that's the industry's way of letting everyone know they've been claimed by this so-called secret society. And of course, Suge had receipts.
It makes sense. Game bought Puffy a Lamborghini. Well, Puffy got more money than Game. Why you buy this man a Lamborghini?
I feel like I owe Diddy something, so I bought him a Ferrari, man.
That's what's up, man.
It was just a Tuesday.
Just shoot videos.
You know, your homies even got a Lamborghini. They probably never voted a Lamborghini. But once again, that secret society, for this thing to work and fix it, they got to start off.
He even brought up an old ASAP Awards moment, where Andre Harold presented Diddy with a lavish watch in front of everyone, calling it a confession of love.
Once they start painting their fingernails and wearing women's clothes, they got you. I remember when they was giving Puffy Award, the ASCAP Awards. Andre went up there and got him a expensive watch. He gave it to him in front of everybody. He basically confessed his love to this man. Another man confessed his love to another man.
Dre is not playing in that gym if you can't see.
In Suey's mind, all these moments weren't just acts of generosity or friendship. No, they were signs of something way deeper. Now, let's be real. This isn't the first time Suge has aired out some suspicions about the industry. But this is giving grasping at straws. Snoop clearly wasn't taking any of it seriously, because instead of clapping back, writing a whole essay, or even dropping a cryptic message, he just reacted to it with a crying laughing emoji and a shrug emoji. That's it. But let's talk about Snoop and Tupac, because even though they were both Meese stars under death row, their relationship was far from perfect.
My Rolls Royce, Tupac Rolls Royce, Suge Rolls Royce. We step off the plane. I'm like, Pop, you going to Vegas to the fight? I said, pfft. That's the last time I seen my live.
Tupac, fiery and aggressive, was all about the East Coast-West Coast war, while Snoop, he wasn't so sure about all that he had love for both sides, and that did not sit well with Pac. The tension became undeniable when just days before Tupac, Snoop publicly stated in an interview that he had no beef with Biggie or Puffy.
Used to hang out. I love Biggie and I love Pac, and both of them love me. So how I look saying Biggie?
Yeah.
Because I'm with Pac. We was on the same.
Yeah.
They rapping the same. We rapping, we got the same struggle, the same hustle. Why we can't get along?
Yeah.
Why we can't like?
Well, Tupac reportedly felt betrayed. Suge Knight himself later confirmed that after hearing Snoop's interview, Tupac refused to speak to him.
You know, Snoop is, saying that's Pac on the bush. He'll do a song with Biggie, he'll do a song with Puffy, he'll do all these songs. So Pac was so mad because Pac loved those dudes. He always would ride for them. And he brought it up. He said, man, I just came to with you, but I put everybody on death row. I put everybody on my album and made sure they was on my.
And then Tupac was down in Las Vegas. This is where things get interesting. When Tupac and Suge Knight got in Las Vegas on September 7th, 1996, guess who wasn't there? Snoop Dogg. He had skipped the Mike Tyson fight. That Pac attended a fight that was heavily publicized, and where tensions between Death Row and their enemies were peaking ever since then. Suge has been claiming that Snoop knew something was about to go down, and made sure he wasn't anywhere near Vegas that night. And honestly, that's a major red flag.
For is us going to Vegas to the fight, nobody in our circle of death row doesn't go to the fight, and everybody go to Club 662 after the fight. Everybody. So we were surprised when Snoop didn't show up, because they got ringside ticket paid for. We were surprised they wasn't at the club. But later on, we all learned why Snoop did not show up.
If you're part of Death Row at the height of its reign, why would you miss one of the biggest nights for the label? Snoop's radio interview after Tupac's death only made things weirder.
I said a little prayer to him in his head and held his hand and whispered at him, said my piece with him. He didn't have no consciousness, but I felt like my spirit and his spirit connected, and I felt like he got it.
His demeanor was off, and many felt like he was holding something back. Someone even wrote, he has a new version about the incident every time he speaks about it. That's insane. But here's the thing, this is only the beginning of the story. Suge Knight stirred even more drama on his Collect Call podcast, and this time he straight up put Snoop Dogg on the hot seat over Tupac's. He made some bold claims suggesting Snoop has some serious explaining to do about what really happened in Vegas on the night of September 7th, 1996. The way Suge sees it, Pac always kept it real with Snoop, put him on All Eyes on Me, and showed him nothing but love. So if the rumors are true, There's a lot Snoop needs to answer for, and Suge isn't just
Ass was on a situation saying that Snoop told him they can't go to the fight, can't go to the club, can't go to Vegas. It's going because something will happen, basically.
Were you in Vegas?
No, we heard about it because they was trying to get us to go to Vegas. And we was like, Dog Pound, we was really on our fro shit. You know what I'm saying? We was already saying that fro.
Dad was like, no, I'm not going to that shit. You want to roll with them? You going, it's going to be all the bloods there and blah, 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 and none of the homies are going to be there. And I was like, dang, I didn't really think of it like.
That's a huge accusation because it suggests Snoop might have known about the setup before it even went down. And that's just one piece of the puzzle Suge is putting together. Then he turned to another big question. How did Snoop and Warren G find out about the shooting so fast if they weren't even in Vegas? Warren G once said on Drink Champs that he and Snoop learned about Pac through an Nextel radio while in Los Angeles. But Sue is calling BS on that. Basically, he's implying that Snoop and his crew had a play-by-play of what was happening in Vegas in real time, which in Sue's mind raises a lot of red flags. And then there's the hospital situation. Sue says Snoop never visited Tupac after the shooting. But Snoop, on the other hand, as
Feeling like it's gonna be alright until we go to the hospital and see that it ain't alright. He got tubes in him, and it's like, when I walked in, I could just feel like he wasn't even there. And I fainted. Then his mother, got me up and walked me in the bathroom and had a conversation with me about being strong. She was like, my baby ain't never seen you weak. I don't want you to be weak in front of him. You go in the bathroom and fix yourself up, and you go back in here and you talk to him and you tell him how you feel. My baby loves.
But Sug, he's not buying it. Fast forward to today. And Suge Knight is still not stopping. This latest claim came straight from Sug himself during an interview with The Art of Dialogue on February 24th. He's still behind bars, and he's coming for Snoop again.
So, Snoop didn't go nowhere near the hospital. So when it happened, as you know, for some strange reason, but now we know the real reason, Snoop did not attend the fight with us or the club, the after party at Club 662. And what's so crazy about that, we thought it was strange that he wasn't there. This is the first one he didn't attend.
Snoop knew Tupac was angry at him.
He told her, he was like, well, look, Tupac hates me right now. He mad at me. He hates me. So I feel bad, and that's why I didn't go up there. And Tupac's mother said, well, look, Pac was mad at me, too, for a few things I'd rather not swear to put some stealing, she said, right?
According to Suge, Snoop Dogg has been working behind the scenes to bail out Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, the same man accused of playing a key role in Tupac's.
Saying less. Since I've been in here, Snoop and other people been having people trying to bail the guy out, Keefe D, because he talking too much. Raising them trying to do stuff for Puffy because they say he talking too much.
And if that wasn't wild enough, Sug is suggesting that Snoop might be nervous about what Key D could reveal. Sug said even he was approached about helping Key D get free.
They even had somebody talk to me and say, hey, you can help him get free. I said, look, I don't have nothing to do with none of that, and I'm not leaving prison to go to Nobody County Jail. To the point they were saying, well, you can't leave and sacrifice a little bit in the county jail to stop that black man from getting life? Hell no. I ain't wishing bad on him at all because I don't want to see nobody go to prison.
At one point in the interview, Suge takes things way further, saying that if he ever ended up in the same jail as Key D, things wouldn't end well for him.
As I find out more details about certain things, I probably would go to the Vegas County Jail if me and Keefe D was cellies. We have a good conversation after I give him, six upside his head, another 6 in his body, and another 2. But yeah, that's definitely didn't happen with Snoop didn't go to.
Safe to say Sug still has major beef with Key D. But what's really crazy is what he said next. Suge claims that Snoop's involvement isn't just about Keefe D. It goes even deeper. He alleges that Ray J once told him Snoop bragged about his role in setting up PX first.